Liberate IT is an Oracle NetSuite solution provider that has been servicing Australian and New Zealand companies since 2011. Liberate IT. We do NetSuite, we do it in New Zealand and Australia. We sell, we implement, and we support NetSuite. Only NetSuite because we know that it is indeed the #1 cloud-based ERP system, and it's been that way for quite some time. We were established way back in 2011. Both business owners have been in the IT business for 15 years. We're very proud to be New Zealand owned and operated. And now we have a very strong staff presence here in Australia. Like I said, we're focused solely on selling, implementing, training, and supporting NetSuite to New Zealand and Australian businesses. We don't do any other software or hardware. We are purely NetSuite specialists. And since expanding into Australia about 3 years ago, we've now got over 115 customers across Australia and New Zealand. Oop. Okay. So this is the traditional setup of a business. It's the structure that consists of a lot of disparate software pieces operating independently, often stitched together with laborious, redundant processes and Excel spreadsheets. It leads to a lot of data inaccuracies. It can lead to some pretty frustrated employees. So the company might have one software piece for their accounting. They might have another piece of software running their e-com, another one doing their CRM. They might be using Zendesk for support. All of these are always patched together with a lot of Excel spreadsheets and manual handling. And this is what happens when you bring in an ERP like Oracle NetSuite. So the primary concept of NetSuite is to have all the systems incorporated by the one platform, allowing a single database, a single source of truth. So it does away with all those spreadsheets and employees needing multiple login details for each systems. It's one central system, live and accurate reporting across every aspect of the business. You also get unique account privileges, meaning that the operations manager will see a different user interface to what the CEO will see. You'll have a customized dashboard, which Paul, I think, will go into later. You'll have customized permissions. So since they're all logging onto the one system, a minor change in the figures at the sales base will translate all the way up to what the CFO and the CEO sees. This is the traditional model of business software. Companies would migrate across to different systems as their companies expanded or contracted. You'd start off on the likes of Xero or even just Excel. Then as your business grew, you might grow to Sage, Greentree. And once you get up to that multiple subsidiary enterprise level, you're looking at the likes of SAP and Oracle. The real beauty of NetSuite is the fact that it's a scalable system. We have small one-user companies using NetSuite. We also have big multinational customers that have over 5,000 licensed users. So NetSuite grows with the business, and we can always scale the system up and down as the business evolves. So it's modular, meaning that we can bolt on whatever capabilities you need and take away the capabilities that you don't need. So you might only need NetSuite financials, or you may require financials, manufacturing, CRM, inventory. Every business has its own unique NetSuite configuration. And we say configuration rather than customization because it's more or less a matter of turning things on and off rather than always using long lines of complex scripting. So we select the components that each business needs based on whatever their future roadmap looks like. Oracle NetSuite. Let's take a look at it. It's been around since 1998. That is older than Google. How good is that animation? So NetSuite was built on the cloud. It's never come on a CD. No one's ever had to come out and install it on any on-premise technology. NetSuite is multi-tenant, and it's a unified data model, and everybody is on the same release. NetSuite updates every 6 months, and all of its customers are always using the latest version of NetSuite. No one obviously has to come out and upgrade it. And we've got the word customization there. It really is configuration, meaning things just turn on and off. Out of the box, NetSuite comes with financial, supply chain management, CRM, HR components, and NetSuite can handle tax compliance all over the world. So it can handle multiple languages. It can also handle multiple currencies. Like I say, can navigate around the different tax laws. These are some of the industries NetSuite does extremely well in: software, services, advertising, media publishing, not-for-profit. We've got a bunch of manufacturing clients. We've got a whole lot of wholesale distribution clients. It also does retail very, very well. These are the financial features that come with NetSuite. I won't read through every single dot point, but take a look at that. And I'm sure that incorporates all of your financial needs. So it does finance and accounting, billing, revenue management, financial planning, financial reporting, global accounting, and consolidation. All of these come out of the box. Now, once again, you may not need all of these, but it does come standard with these modules. An ERP, enterprise resource planning, means it's a system that runs every aspect of your business. So it can also handle the likes of order management, procurement. NetSuite can handle your inventory. It can handle production, warehouse management, supply chain management. I myself use the CRM on a daily basis to keep track of clients, prospect leads. I log into our human capital management module when I need to check my pay, log any sick leave, and project management speaks for itself. So NetSuite exists in a huge ecosystem of what we call suite app partners. So there's a lot of third-party companies that have developed their software within NetSuite. As an example, Infinite Cloud have built a payroll system in NetSuite that's compliant with New Zealand and Australian law. So that's all things payroll, superannuation, government taxes, and compliances. Pardon me. And True Cloud Solution have developed a point of sale software within NetSuite. So if NetSuite can't do it at its core, it will extend out to an ecosystem of suite apps to incorporate any additional aspect of the business. Over 300 components available out of the box. NetSuite is very much designed for a quick implementation. Now, it's not going to take a day to get started with out of the box. There isn't any customization. It's simply configuration, like I've said 3 times now. We've dealt with a lot of different companies and seen almost every combination possible. So there really isn't anything that the NetSuite and Liberate IT can't handle. NetSuite's also mobile, can be used on an iPhone or an Android device. So obviously with what's going on right now with COVID, you can work from home, work from the cafe, work from client side, work from the lounge, work from wherever you want. The benefits of ERP I could talk about forever. So NetSuite as a software piece is one thing, but it's really important to consider the implementation partner. And that is the group of people who are going to merge your entire business across to NetSuite as smoothly as possible. When a business signs up to NetSuite with Liberate IT, we start the project with a 2-day workshop. In these workshops, our consultants work with you to understand the business. Never completely outsource the implementation of any technology to a partner. It should always be a really, really inclusive approach. So we're there every step of the way. We're asking all the right questions. We develop process maps and then begin to ascertain a more improved business design. We then begin to create a project plan where we outline the tasks and the deliverables. These often incorporate data migrations, system integrations to pre-existing software. For example, if you want NetSuite to integrate with your current website, we can do that. If you've got some industry-specific software that you really want to hold on to, there are connectors for that. If we do need to develop some custom script, we absolutely can do that as well. Our project team will run these workshops for anywhere between 1 and 3 days. Throughout the project, we do a lot of configuration, process design. We look at the risk management. We do user acceptance, testing and training. And then finally, there's all of the angst and excitement of the go live. NetSuite has over 40,000 customers. Here are just a few. There's obviously no way I could put 40,000 onto one slide. There's a lot of companies there from Australia, some from New Zealand, some massive ones you will recognize. What have we learnt along the way? What do people love? They love a system that is reliable and accurate. In terms of accessibility, they like being able to access NetSuite from anywhere at any time, from any device. Clients also value NetSuite's ability to seamlessly integrate with other systems. Sometimes that's really, really important for companies. If you don't want every aspect of your business to be out of NetSuite, we can do that. The automatic upgrades and maintenance means there's no manual intervention needed. NetSuite upgrades every 6 months. Like I said, it happens automatically in the background while a client will just continue business as usual. Comprehensive reporting is a complete business management tool, meaning that everything can be run out of that one system. And for the decision makers, they can see every aspect of that business. It gives full visibility across every part of the organization. And all that's feeding out of the one source of truth. Now, over to the demonstration, the more tech-orientated of us, the Honourable Paul Beattie. Paul, are you there and can you hear me? Or have I been talking to absolutely no one this whole time?
I can hear you, Julius. No, thank you very much for that overview of Liberate and NetSuite. And yes, I'm ready to do a demonstration of NetSuite. Okay, Julius, can you see a NetSuite screen with an orange band across the top?
I indeed can.
Okay, so thank you everyone for attending this morning. The demonstration I'm going to do is a very truncated version of a demonstration we would normally do when we're talking to a prospective customer. These demonstrations can take anywhere between 3 hours, and my longest one was 8 hours. We really want to get into the detail with our prospective customers to ensure that they are understanding what they are buying, the system they're buying, and equally that we understand their requirements. What we'd normally do is do a discovery call first and then do a bespoke demonstration. What I plan to do today is 15 to 20 minutes of an overview of NetSuite, which is just looking at the dashboards, the drilling down, the philosophy of NetSuite, and then plan to do a transaction pretending we're a warehouse and distribution company. As Julia said, we can do professional services, projects, manufacturing, and of course, very complex international finance. But today we're just going to look at a very basic warehouse and distribution where we're going to create a quote via the CRM, create a sales order. We're going to be out of stock of some items. We're going to then purchase them in a couple of different ways and fulfill them. So what you're looking at here is a NetSuite screen. NetSuite was built, as Julia said, in 1998, and it was built from the ground up as a cloud proposition. It was designed as an ERP, so that means you have your CRM, your finance, your inventory, and the rest of the functionality in there. The dashboards were also built as an integral part. A lot of the systems still today, they had their base system and then they did a screen scrape of the dashboards over top. These dashboards that you're looking at are an integral part and is how you should interact with an ERP system like NetSuite. But what we're looking at here in the financial controller role is one way to look at NetSuite. We might go and look at a different way to look at NetSuite, and we might go down to then you'll see I've got on my right-hand side, a lot of roles there. Every user will normally just have one role, and as far as they're concerned, that is NetSuite. But if I go down and look at a sales representative role, I'm now swapping roles in this demonstration system, and you'll see we've got a different color scheme. You can see across the top, I don't know if you noticed before, but the words are different. We're now talking about leads and opportunities and customers and sales performance. So NetSuite is attempting to focus the user and the role that they are using on the job that they have to do. You'll see that the dashboards here are talking about events, meetings that they need to attend to, tasks that they need to complete, how many leads and prospects are there, leads to follow up. These are reminders. We've got a KPI meter looking at sales and the sales rep, and I hope he's not having to get there by the end of the month. He's made $25,000 of sales and his target's $256,000. The KPIs here, we can see opportunities, estimates, forecasts. So again, it's going to be bringing up reminders, and then all those reminders can then go up to their manager in a sales manager role, and they can see over top of everything. I'm going to go into a different role now, a very different role. I'm going to go into the warehouse manager's role. And I go into this role to show just how quiet a dashboard can be. So the initial dashboard we opened up on was full of facts and figures and graphs, but that's not great for everybody. So what we do sometimes is quieten the dashboard down. And on this occasion, we've decided to quieten the warehouse people's dashboards down. But across the top, you'll see that we're still aiming at just what they do: shipping, receiving, inventory. If you only worked in the warehouse and you saw this role, you wouldn't actually realize there's a finance system as part of NetSuite, because you'd never see it. You wouldn't realize there's a manufacturing system or CRM system, because your role and your permissions is just looking at what you need to do. You've got some orders to pack, some orders to ship, and some orders to fulfill. And to see what those orders are, I click on orders to fulfill, and I have a list of all the orders that I need to get out today. Of course, if you use our warehouse management system with barcode scanning, then that's going to turn up on a handheld scanner as you go around the warehouse and pick, and then take it back to a packing station. If you're not, then you're coming back to the computer and you're looking at the next item to order. Now, first thing I want to talk about NetSuite in particular is that when we're implementing it, we try to talk to customers about what they manually do to make things more efficient. And what people often say in the warehouse is what they're doing is, oh, well, we need to get all the big supermarket, for example, or the big chain retailers out the door first. So we go through all the bits of paper, and before we give it to the warehouse, it's already sorted. But then another order comes and we run downstairs with a new order for a very important customer, and we have to slot that into the bit of paper. And I'm going, okay, let's think about this differently. What say we have a list here of all the orders that need to be picked today, but let's get the computer to think about this. If you need all the orders to go outside a geographic distance, maybe 400 kilometers, then let's put them up the top so that they are picked first, and the closer ones, the ones within the town or the city, are packed last. Or we choose that certain flagged customers, if they place an order, it will always come up the top here. So this sales order that I'm circling here, that might just keep dropping down because these big important customers keep coming up the top. But the most important thing, we don't have someone running from the office, the customer service down, because there's an urgent order that has to be fulfilled right now. That's just a waste of time for everybody. And the whole point of NetSuite is that the customer service people could be on the other side of the world. It doesn't really matter. They pick this location. It happens to be Perth. It happens to be Sydney. It happens to be Wellington. And it immediately turns up in that warehouse list of things to order. And if it's an important customer, it's at the top. These are the things we talk about all the time in these workshops and as we go through. And that's why it's so important that we have someone from the customer's side to implement with us so they can keep talking about things like this and we can develop a solution together. And of course, once you go live, hey, you might have missed some of those stuff, or 4 months later, hey, how do we make things more efficient? We got 80% there, let's now get the rest of them. And so that continual optimization of an ERP system is something that we really push, but we need to have someone on the customer side that we can talk to and give them ideas of how they could optimize, or they pay us to optimize, whichever the customer likes. I'm going to head back now to my financial controller role. And let's go and have a look around this role. So the first thing that you'll see, I've got some graphs. And some KPI meters. I can click down and I can pick other things. I want to see perhaps what my bank balance is. Instead, I've got KPIs here. Now remembering that KPIs are key performance indicators, but in the end, a key performance indicator is nothing more than a summarized report. And a summarized report is nothing more than a collection of granular data. So we can more or less visualize any information in NetSuite as long as we understand that that granular data has to be on a transaction or a record somewhere to be able to group it all together. Now, anything in blue here, I can drill through to. So I'm going to go and look at my receivables. So all I'm doing is running a report for my receivables. And I want to look at Cotterman software here. I'm going to click through to Cotterman software and drill down onto that a little bit. Now, once that's done, I can see there's an invoice outstanding. I'm going to drill down onto that. I am now in the granular data, the transactional record of the invoice. But it doesn't stop there. I can see there's some items here. I can see there's a sales order it's based on. So I want to go and look into that sales order. I'm going to open that into a new tab. I did that by clicking on the right side. I could also create it into a new window. And I've now got the sales order, and I can see the picked, packed, fulfilled invoice. I can go to related records of the sales order, and I can see the item fulfillment number and the invoice. So everything is linked up in NetSuite. If there are 2 item fulfillments, but something was on back order, you see 2 item fulfillments and 2 invoices. I go back to the invoice tab now. Now I want to look at the one of these items. I'm going to go look at this. I'm going to again right click and open it into a new tab. And I can see what the inventory item is. It's stocked in eaches. And I can see what the last purchase price is. And down here, I can see the locations. And I can see reorder points. And we have automated reorder points here so that we can, and later on, I'll show you the functionality that can automatically suggest, based on an algorithm, of what items NetSuite thinks a customer should reorder. But I can also look at pricing while I'm here in this item record. And that can be pricing in any currency that you like. The most fun thing though is the item 360, which I can see average sales margins. I can see historical sales items and when they were sold. I can see items that are on back order and what the transactions are, and I can click down through into these transactions. Equally, items on forward order, on order, I can click into this. In the end, NetSuite is a collection of data, and it's just a matter of how we visualize it, how we put that data in front of people. I'm going to go back now to my invoice, and I want to go and look at the company now. Again, I'm going to right click, so open up here. I've got 4 tabs open now. I'm going to go through and see who this company is. Cotterman Software. Again, we have a customer 360 scorecard, just like in the inventory item, and we can see the number of orders that they have, the total invoice value, the number of returns, how many open sales orders there are. Again, all of these can be drilled down to. You imagine this in a customer service world, being able to click and instantly see the 360 view of that customer. We can see the top sold items, and NetSuite is a marketing engine as well. So we can extract that information. Okay, give me all the items of this product group that was sold over 2 years ago, because they're all coming up for warranty periods. Let's put them in front of the sales reps and a big long list on their screen to phone up those customers and see if they want to reorder. Or let's send an EDM out to them, again, directly from NetSuite to see if they want to reorder and try to push them through to the NetSuite website. We can see 12 months worth of sales and items returned. But not only that, once we're in this customer record, we of course have relationships. So we can see that there's contacts here, and we have communication, again, straight out of NetSuite. And this is where the CRM functionality of NetSuite as an ERP system comes through. So we can see the messages, which of course is sales orders, orders that have been fulfilled, notifications, that's just automatic. An invoice has gone out here on the 3rd line down, but equally it also just might be, here's a quote that you want, or hey, let's just meet up, how are you getting on? All the invoices are recorded, or the emails are recorded. Activities the same, phone calls, meeting times, it's all recorded within NetSuite, so you get your proper 360 view. And of course you have your financial data here, which is showing normal things like credit limits and terms and how much they owe you and all the transactions. Okay, I'm going to go back home. I'm now have dropped a long way down from where I started. I'm going to click this home button up here. Everyone knows what the house looks does in a website. We use exactly the same in NetSuite. I'm going to close my tabs and I'm back to where I started. So wherever you are, wherever you drill down to, wherever your nose takes you to investigate something, clicking home gets you back to your home screen. If I want to add some new KPIs on there, it does not take a programmer to do it. If we've trained people, what we call NetSuite champions within your company, we would hope that they could do it. And if they can't, then they phone us up. We either point them in the right direction or we do it for them. So lots and lots of standard KPIs. So if I wanted to, maybe see new customers coming in, or I want to see open opportunities or operating expenses. Click those, and I've now got 3 new KPIs down the bottom. But the trick is these custom KPIs, creating what we call saved searches. So to bring back data that NetSuite hasn't thought of, data that is specific to how you run your business. So that's, they've got a new one there. I want to move that up 4, and I'm going to save that. And very, very quickly, I've got 4 new KPIs here, all of which I can drill down into. I mentioned before where it's can run international finance, have multiple subsidiaries. If I want to see what the subsidiary is doing and I have the roles or the permissions to do it, I click on Subsidiary Navigator here, and I can immediately see that this system I'm in has 4 subsidiaries and a head office in Australia with an elimination, because of course we have automated eliminations when there's intercompany transactions or journals. The neat thing here, if I just click on the New Zealand, I am going to see all the data just for the New Zealand subsidiary. If I click on Singapore, I'm going to see it all just for Singapore. It's all now loading up that. Or if I click back on Australia, I'm going to see it for the group consolidated. Now, if I want to, I can also change the dates. At the moment, I've set manual dates here. But if I want to see everything, an auditor comes in or a bank manager wants to see, show me everything this quarter versus last quarter. NetSuite's now going away now. If you remember the old days, to run something like this when you had servers or you had 5 or 6 different systems, you'd need an Excel spreadsheet and someone to take about a day, maybe 2 days to run all these reports, this quarter versus last quarter, manufacturing reports, inventory reports, accounts payable, accounts receivable reports. I did that in seconds. And you'll see that all those numbers are now different. And I now go back and I'm just putting it back to my manual portlet date settings here. And it's now running all those reports again. In the end, if we get the data correct in NetSuite as an accounting system, it's got to be, then visualizing that is really simple. And of course, all this data can be extracted to a BI tool if you wish to do more data mining type of things. If I want to change my dashboard, that's really, really easy. I can put new KPI meters on, new searches on. What should I do? Let's put a new graph on, a new trend graph. Just going to close that now. So let's go and see what NetSuite's provided us for graphs. So again, NetSuite comes with a lot of graphs out of the box. But the trick is these custom ones. There's 10 custom KPI graphs that we can create to put on the dashboard for you. I'm just going to average days, maybe average days to pay. And let's make it yellow. Save that. And instantly I have a graph there. It's right in the middle where I don't want it. So I'm going to move it over to there. And in actual fact, I think I want it to be a bar graph now. Or maybe one of these sort of graphs. And actually, I want to see it quarterly. I can also export that. This is what I actually do for my board reports. I extract these graphs out and just as a JPEG document and put them into my my board reporting. Now, homepage real estate is really valuable. So I don't think quarterly average days to pay is a particularly useful graph to have on there when, to be honest, I'm going to remove it. It's things like your bank balance you want to keep an eye on, your payables you want to keep an eye on, you know, your financial overviews, your inventory you want to keep an eye on. So all of these are other areas to put dashboards. So if I go to my financial tab, perhaps this is a better place to put your monthly payables trend, to put your average days, stuff that you only look at on a weekly basis, you might put into these other dashboards. So moving that around, very, very simple to do. In fact, it's anyone that enjoys playing a bit of Excel and learning Excel, NetSuite's very much like that. It's great fun to play with. If I want to look at my vendors, I can have a dashboard set up just to see vendor performance. If I want to go to customers, exactly the same. And of course, all of these you can drill down to. It's just different ways of visualizing data. So over here is the reminders portlet, a very, very important portlet because it's alerting people that they have something to do. At the moment, who am I now? Jennifer Gordon here, the financial controller ANZ, has some periods to close, 9 accounting periods to close. I suggest she gets onto that. Some invoices which are overdue, good to look at those. Some bills to pay. But these are the ones that are that you want to be on top of. Hey, there's an expense report to approve. There's a purchase order to approve. Now, Jennifer can be anywhere in the world and approve this. We use NetSuite, of course, and Liberate. I'm approving expenses and purchase orders and bills from airport lounges, from hotel rooms, anywhere in the world, anywhere in Australia, anywhere in New Zealand. Paper disappears. In fact, we run a virtual office, and I have done this for 10 years, well before COVID times, because I like the whole work-life balance of our employees. I think it's a good way to keep employees and keep them engaged, and it's just a good philosophy. But of course, we can't have paper then turning up on a desk to rubber stamp. So when I need to approve a bill, my reminder shows me that there's a bill to approve sent from my financial controller who lives in Parnell. When I say sent, she's uploaded it into NetSuite with the PDF. So I can look at the PDF that was sent by the supplier. Expense reports here. I can go in and now, of course, an expense report will have been put on NetSuite via the Android or the Apple app by Abby Kwan here. She would have taken a photo of the receipt, which I can now go and look at. And when she was happy with it, she would have uploaded that to NetSuite and it would have come in for supervisor approval. Once it's supervisor approved, it goes to accounting approval, which just means it disappears off their supervisor's dashboard and goes to the accountant's dashboard or the accounts payable dashboard to pay the employee, either through the payroll system or what we do is just, you can do it through AP if you wish. We do it through the payroll. Now, the last thing I want to show before I head off and do a transaction for the last 20 minutes is this global search up here. It's probably the most important way to navigate around NetSuite. So I was in a company before called Cotterman. So I type in Cotterman and NetSuite searches all of the system looking for Cotterman. Well, there's too much there. So I want just the customer. So I'm putting CU in front and I just get the customer Cotterman. I click into that customer and I'm now in that customer record where I was before, except I've now come in a different way. Before I went down through transactions to a transaction and then came back up to the customer, this I've gone straight into it because the Cottermans have phoned. In the same way, if I want to look up an item, the item was in before, I type in 7800, it's searching and it's found in the middle, 7800. If I click on that, I can see the item that I was in earlier. I can also, and this is where we talk a lot about naming conventions with inventory, because I've just typed in CL, there's some item groups here. I just want to see items, so it's IT. And now I just see the inventory item. Now I was in an invoice just earlier. I'm going to, on my left-hand side here, look at my recent records, look at my history. And here's the invoice I was in, is 38561. Someone phones up 38561. There's the invoice. If there was more numbers like that, I would put IN and I click on through, and I'm now in that invoice. Remember, I was in the invoice last by drilling down through it. So very, very simple to get around NetSuite. But of course, you know, you don't want to be looking up, someone phones in, hi, it's James from Cotterman. Now you look up Cotterman. Well, you're actually dealing with people dealing with people. So you type in James, that's his name. But there's a lead, James Electronics, there's customers, it's all over the place. But if I type in CO:, I just get the James that I'm looking for. And it's James Cotterman. And I'm going to go into his contact record. And in his contact record, I can see a picture of him. It's actually a picture of me, if anyone was noticing earlier. I can see that he's married. He's married to Pip. He's got a couple of kids. The family's into sailing. Just starting to build up some information about this contact. Put his birthday in there, and maybe send him a birthday email automatically from NetSuite on his birthday with a voucher for 20% off. Get someone to phone him on his birthday. You know, build up those lovely CRM contact relationships. Feel like you know this guy so well. And down here, of course, we've got communication. I'm not sure there's any in here, but just like before, in the customer, the contacts can have communication of phone calls that they've had, emails they've received, and also marketing campaigns that they have received from your company via NetSuite with an EDM. And you can see if they've opened it, if they've clicked through to a website, if they've decided if it's bounced, that all happens within NetSuite. Okay, I'm going to click home here and let's go sell something. So I'm going to change roles again. I'm going up to the administrator role, which allows me to have unwieldy powers up here. Now, one thing I couldn't do in the financial roles, go in and see how Save Search created. So I want to do that here. And you'll see on the reminders, I've got some overdue invoices that are greater than 90 days that are over 10K. If I run this, what we call Save Search, you can see that there's some colorization going on to really highlight it. It's a very, very bright colorization. But let's go see how the search was created. Very simple to do. The criteria was the type of transaction was an invoice. Of course, I could have chosen, oops, let's try that one. Any type of transaction in NetSuite, but I chose an invoice. The days overdue is greater than 90. And again, very simple to work out. Greater than, less than, value is 90. The status is an invoice that is open, and the amount is greater than $100,000. And just like the before, I can change it to 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, 5,000. I can do this for quotes. Give me all the quotes that are about to close in 5 days' time that are greater than $20,000. And the sales manager gets all these. Getting that data. There's so much data. It's getting that data, managing by exception, that is needed for every employee to do their job efficiently. Now, the results that came up to that, I noticed, was sort of funny because the amount was way over to the right. So I want to move that under the name. So I've got the name of the customer and the amount. That's just by dragging that up. I can go and look at the highlighting, this horrible green and red text color. if the amount was greater than $50,000. You'll see I'm selecting just here. Again, very simple for people to do. And I can go and limit this to certain roles. But the most fun thing here is that I can email this automatically to a select group of people at a certain time, whether it be on a weekly, daily, at a certain time. I can make a schedule up to do this. Some of our customers get around actually having users here, because what they do is there'll be some people that just need to see a report once a week. So instead of logging in for that, an email is created, a save search is run, a report is run, and it's automatically sent to that person. I'm going to click home here. Right, so I mentioned before that we're a CRM system as well. So what I've been doing a lot is showing you transactions, geo-impacting transactions, but I'm going to go now into the leads prospects area, where we put information in, but these people don't have a geo-impacting relationship with your company yet. They're the sales guys trying their hardest to sell to these guys. And there might be thousands of them, and they're doing emails out to them, segmenting them to make phone calls, having meetings. Finally, they get a prospect that is keen to get a quote from you or have an opportunity. So I'm going to find an opportunity here. I'm going to use my favorite little OPP. There's an opportunity for all outdoors. I click on to all outdoors here, and again, just drilling through to the prospect, and I can see various information. I can see relationships and things, but the most important thing here is what is the opportunity. So if I click on the opportunity, I can see an estimate or a quote, whatever you want to call it, has been sent to that person. And it's for these items. The neat thing about putting these items in, a quote, you can do this even before a quote is created, so you know the type of things that they're looking for. If I go along to the sales, I can see a qualification. So budget's been approved. It's been for $10,000. The buying frame's in the next 1 to 3 months. And I can go and see that the estimate has been sent. Let's go have a look at the estimate, because they've just phoned up and said, hey, we're keen to buy. So we're jumping on this one. You'll see it's at 50% probability here, and that is preset by the sales team and the finance team. By the finance team, because that information can go through to a sales forecast, and what it does is take 50% off the total value, and that's then used for cash flow purposes. But it is also used, of course, for the sales reps to see where in the pipeline all these deals are: 10%, 20%, 50%, 80%. These can all be automatically preset, and the statuses of these are automatically can be customized or configured by the as part of the implementation. So I've got this estimate here. They said we want to go with it. I can see these are the items that that we've quoted them. If there's no changes to any of this, all I have to do is click sales order. And that's going to create a sales order in the system ready to be shipped. And that normally scares everybody. So the idea is that that you put a little blocker there to say, well, does this sales order need approval? Or before these items are shipped, is there a credit check that needs to be done? But the idea is you let the sales rep create the sales order, and then you stop it at awaiting approval while other administration is done. You don't want to get the sales reps into that administration. You want them off selling, sell, and let the accounts people and the warehouse people then sort out the creation of this customer, the creation of this sales order. Now you'll notice here that there's items that are out of stock. That's exactly what we want, because we're going to need to buy some, and I'm going to save that. I haven't got I haven't forced a PO number to be created, but I can make that a mandatory field. You can't save this without a PO number in this field. Now I can go down here and look, I can see committed, picked, packed, fulfilled, but we're all on back order. So how do we get some stock in? Well, first of the thing that's happened is that the procurement manager has been emailed and or has an alert on their dashboard, just in those reminders that I showed earlier, to say, you've got items on back order, you better get buying. Again, I go into warehouses and there's bits of paper and manila folders or clipboards showing all the items on back order. Well, of course, we just have a back order report here and alerts to tell people to go buy things. So I'm going to buy in two ways. One is I'm going to buy what we call a special order or dropship order. Dropship order goes straight to the customer. A special order comes into the warehouse, and then I'm going to run the automatic procurement. I'm going along to my right here, and you'll see here I can create a PO. So I'm going to create a special order PO for 2 items. And I know it's 2 items because there's 2 items on that sales order on back order that come from the same company. Now to do that, I've done save an email. That will automatically, if I put save an email to the vendor, to the supplier, which is recorded in the relationship area and the communication area here to say, yep, the email is received. If they reply to that, it will go into your inbox rather, but it will also go to that transaction. So you can build up a record of all the emails backwards and forwards while you're trying to get these orders in the purchase order. So if I go along now, I can see that I've got a PO there. I'm going to click through to that PO. And if I want to receive that PO, I click receive. Of course, what I would have done is type in PU 2497 when it reached out the door, clicked on that, and then click receive. I've got a barcode scanner. I would be scanning all this in. I can put some landed cost against this, which will increase the average cost. And there's various ways, but that's for another conversation. But I only sent 2 of these. So I've got 4 I ordered, only 2 have come in. I'm saving that. So that means that PO will not be closed because only 2 have received. If I go back to that purchase order, I can see it's pending billing partially received. When I receive that invoice, the accounts payable percentage of invoice, it had better only say that 2 have turned up of that item and 4 of that item. And now you're waiting for the extra 2. And that will also just stay there until either that's closed because it's never going to turn up, or you receipt the 2 in. Now the magic with this is because it's linked to the sales order here, I can go back to my sales order now. And as soon as those items were moved into the warehouse, 2 were committed automatically for that item and 4 for that item. That just happens automatically. And that means that in the warehouse role, there's an alert now saying, oh, we can send these items out. So let's go fulfill them. And off we go here, and you'll see that we can, in the bottom right-hand corner, fulfill 2 of that item and 4 of that item. I can put some information here for packages, tracking numbers. If we linked up, which we can, to all the couriers and freight companies, that will automatically send out some information, bring back a tracking number, and produce a label. And I can save and bill that, or I'm just going to save that, which means it's awaiting billing, because my view is if that sales order is got the right information in at the start and it's approved at the start, it should just be automatically billed, which can be done manually here, or in my preference, if I go back to the sales order, is that it is just billed every hour by an automatic routine, a workflow, or billed at 8 o'clock at night. An invoice is automatically created and emailed, and that invoice will be on the email will be on the invoice transaction. So you can go see when it was sent. If someone replies to it, just like the purchase order, it goes onto the invoice as well as into your inbox. So you can build up, well, I'm creating this invoice, and then you reply from your inbox. It's linked to NetSuite, so we'll automatically put it on the invoice transaction. You get your complete record there. If I go look at my related records, I can see I've got 1 purchase order linked to this sales order. and I've got one item receipt, and I've got no invoice yet because the billing routine hasn't run and I haven't done it manually. Which means that I have now got these items have been fulfilled, they've not been invoiced yet. Again, you can get reports for all of this. You can see why didn't that automatically get invoiced? Or if it's a manual system you're running, why hasn't that been invoiced yet? Why are these on back order? So I can, of course, create and you'll all be used to this, entering a purchase order and manually filling up your warehouse. But what I rather like to do is hit my order items, which is the automated functionality to select that there's certain items in a certain location, and I can pick my location, and I can pick my vendor even. What are all the items that NetSuite thinks I should be ordering? And this NetSuite is saying that for this vendor, these items, these are on back order. This is the reorder point that's been automatically calculated or manually set, up to you. This is the preferred stock level. Therefore, NetSuite's recommending you order 7 of those and 12 of those. You can change that, of course. You can say only that one. But if I want to choose to produce purchase orders for those, I click submit, and it is now off to create purchase orders for best fixtures and digital supplies. Can you imagine if you had 80 of those, just how quick this would be? The system's algorithms working out based on historical trend analysis, safety stock, reorder points, lead times, what the recommended best quantity will be in the warehouse. And I've automatically got these purchase orders now. And so they're sitting in the system, just waiting to be received. And once they're received, then that will show automatically on the sales order. And just like before, I'm going to have my sales order will automatically update, and therefore I will then be able to ship those items out. That's all I really wanted to show in this demonstration. It was an overview of how you navigate around NetSuite and the philosophy of visualization and optimization of a system like NetSuite, and then to show you a very basic transaction and a couple of ways to order items in, and hopefully to show just how you can get rid of paper, how everything can be done on a screen anywhere in the world, and therefore that should make things more efficient. Now, Julius, is there any questions that you have for me?
Thank you very much, Paul. Indeed, there was one from Tim Clarkson. Hi, Paul. If you can squeeze in a quick demo on the project management, that would be good. Now, Paul, obviously, I mean, it's up to you whether or not you want to do that, but I can by all means send him a video from our YouTube channel on project management if you'd like.
Yeah, the actual problem is I'm not sure that I have on the system the project management. To be honest, it takes hours to look at. I'm sorry, I don't have my a tab down here for the projects. So being a modular system, it comes provisioned with certain modules, either the manufacturing modules or the project modules or just the inventory module. Always comes with CRM, expense reporting, and this demo system does not have the project module put in, but I'm very happy to take you over that at another occasion.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got everyone's contact details, so we'll follow up anyone who finds a question. We've got a very long one. It's from an anonymous attendee. I have a major contract with a customer and some suppliers as part of this partnering contract. I want to open up all records / transactions, inventory, sales, costs, history, etc., that are part of this contract. Is it possible to do that, to segment this part of the system to my customer and suppliers? Can I extract this set of information into another repository for backup and business continuity purposes and make them available to my customer and suppliers with this contract?
Could you, the person who asked that, are you planning for your suppliers to have access to NetSuite, or is it about extracting data out and putting into an Excel spreadsheet or some sort of BI tool?
Yes, either way.
Either way. Oh, absolutely. I mean, segmenting data, I mean, giving access to NetSuite can be troublesome. I will admit it, because you've got to check that everything is locked down. If you give a role to a person to make sure that they can't see other bits, of course you don't want them to see things like the profit and loss, that's easy, but there might be some other data you don't want them to see. But yes, it can be. We also have what's called a customer center and a partner center and a vendor center. Now, these are specifically where they log in to NetSuite, they get their own dashboards, and they can see areas of data that is relevant to them. And that's where they might pick up quotes or POs. Instead of you emailing them, they might pick up POs, and they might place in bills. Customers can do exactly the same thing, place orders. In fact, it's from that we then build out the e-commerce capability. So I'd explore that as well. As far as extracting data out on a certain segment, I wonder if we call them or put everything of that to a certain department or a cost center or to a custom segment, which we can do. We create custom segments so that every transactional record that has that custom segment called to be shared, say, that is extracted out into a BI tool, Excel, and then that's forwarded to the customer. Would be, not, when I say not terribly difficult, but once thought through, I can't see any problems with that.
Fantastic. Just a reminder, guys, this session is recorded. It'll be on our YouTube channel by the end of the week, and we'll send that out to all of the attendees. If you have any more questions whatsoever, jump on our website. All our contact details are there. It's liberateit.com. I mentioned our YouTube channel earlier. That is youtube.com/Liberate IT. There's a link to that on our website. Always new free resources popping up there. But for the time being, that's it. Thank you everyone for joining. And you will get this towards the end of the week. Have a fantastic week, everybody. Stay productive. And that's bye from all of us at Liberate IT.
We hope this video gave you the information you were after. If you have any further questions, get in touch with us using the links in the description. At Liberate IT, we can provide free consulting to understand your business system requirements, understand your company growth plans, and provide free NetSuite demonstrations. For more information, visit our website.